from Telluride to Kansas City, and I was up far too late. I shouldn't have been driving anymore. I just passed Colorado Springs, and I was falling asleep at the wheel almost when this album came on, and I had one of the best music listening experiences of my life. The album opens on such a high note with Dream House. Start just building, and then it explodes, and immediately I'm awake. There's no chance of me falling asleep anymore. I am on this journey with Deafheaven all the way. And that journey was an incredibly unique one because Deafheaven are sort of known for pioneering a new sort of micro genre that others have tried before, but they're really the poster boys of, because it is black gaze, which is a mashup of black metal and shoegaze, which are both genres I don't necessarily care about all that much, but somehow the Deafheaven mixture, the elixir that they put together, makes both of these genres just really shine for me. And part of what makes that work is that there is a post-rock structure to this album. Post-rock isn't something I was really familiar with before starting this campaign, but I was scrolling through a best albums of the 90s list about a year ago, and Godspeed You Black Emperor's F-sharp, A-sharp Infinity really caught my eye. I listened to that, and I fell in love with post-rock, so I was so excited when listening to Sunbather and hearing, wait a minute, this is really reminding me of Godspeed You Black Emperor, except it's invert, whereas Godspeed You Black Emperor normally operates in sort of a quiet drone register that builds to these amazing, loud, jam-out rock sessions. Sunbather takes the opposite approach, where most of it is a loud, noisy, metal, shoegaze, sound-filled experience, and then it'll break down and sort of fall apart into these quiet, somber, melancholic, beautiful compositions with just this wonderful guitar by Kerry McCoy. And that structure is what really made this album work for me, because if it had stayed in that whole high-intensity black metal register the entire time, I would have lost interest. But instead, we had these 4 epic tracks connected by 3 interludes, and even within the epic tracks, we'd start high, and then we'd break down, like in the first track, Dream House, about 6 minutes in, we get very quiet and somber, and then we have a full moment of full silence before the drums kick back in. And it's awesome and irresistible. The following interlude after that is amazing as well. I really like that first stretch of the album, and I really like the rest of it too. I will say the last 2/3 doesn't quite hit me as hard as Dream House and Irresistible. The 1-2 punch of that combo does. But it's a great journey, a great sound, and love the band. Everyone involved in this thing knows every inch of their instruments. I always think when I hear an album like this, I think of Jack Black's line in School of Rock, "You guys can really play. Why didn't anyone tell me?" Not only do they have the playing, they have George Clark's singing, if we could call it that. When I listened to this album for the first time, I wasn't actually sure. I knew there were vocals, but I was not sure if words were really being said, because George Clark screams everything with this screech rattle at the top of his lungs, and you just can't tell if he's even speaking words. And then I looked up later, found, okay, there are lyrics, but no, they're lying. I go back, I listen to it, there can't be lyrics. He's not saying words. I even went and watched some live performances and still can barely decipher anything that's being placed. But it's all about the vocal texture, and that texture complements the album to a T. Sunbather is unquestionably a sonic odyssey, and that is a journey that is absolutely worth taking. I do have a few flaws that I find with it. I think the second 2 interludes, Please Remember and Windows, are just too long, especially when they're there to segue out of epic 10 to 14 minute tracks. Anyway, they don't need to be as long as they are. Windows is kind of interesting because it uses audio sample of the band's guitarist finalizing a drug deal for some opiates, as well as a sample of a street preacher proselytizing to the crowd, which is kind of a little Godspeed You Black Emperor ripoff there. Those flaws are very minor. It's just a great album overall. I listened to some of Deafheaven's other albums. They're all good. good, but none of them quite hit and come together the same way Sunbather does. So go to your local internet and check it out. Well, with that out of the way, I'll get back to sunbathing myself. Now, probably only need to go a little bit longer because I fry up pretty easily, just in the sweet spot, I think. So let's get that final bit of tan.